characteristic is unique to action research questions when contrasted with quantitative and qualitative methods. Solid response. They are more fluid is a valid choice. What research methodology is an empirical inquiry about a contemporary phenomenon set within its real-world context? Great thinking. Case study is the right choice. Which of the following orders of occurrence shows publication of research studies from most recent to least recent? Nice work. You chose conference papers, journal articles, books, and it is correct. Which of the following would represent the IMIC perspective in an integration study of an inner-city middle school? Sharp thinking. Interview with 8th grade student at risk of dropping out is the right choice. Experimental research designs involve collecting dash and performing statistical analysis on them during research. You chose quantitative data, and it is correct. A researcher is seeking out multiple studies on a specific topic. What is the most applicable to their research? Good job. Your answer research literature works well here. In addition to expressing a research study's objective, a research purpose statement also helps researchers dash. Great job. Communicate with other researchers is the accurate answer. Which one of the following is the characteristics of experimental research where the experiment is carried out? Smart move. Setting is an accurate answer. What is the type of research design used to study the relationships between two or more quantifiable variables? Or on track, correlational research design is the correct answer. What is the type of research design that focuses on predicting outcomes using certain variables as predictors? Correct response. Correlational research design is the most accurate answer. Which of the following cannot be considered an important aspect for not addressing the problem? If the study nice selection does not contribute to knowledge and practice is the correct and valid answer. For qualitative research questions, the overarching question you explore in the research study is the dash. Well picked. Central questions is the correct answer. What is the primary objective of education research that studies a phenomenon about which little is known? You got it. Your choice. To understand is right. Which one of the following is the type of research sources that includes the review of related literature? Clear logic. Your choice, all of the above, is sound and 100% true. Definition it is a specific issue or gap in existing knowledge that you aim to address in your research. Smart pick. Research problem is the correct choice. A scientific and systematic search for knowledge and information on specific topic is called as dash. Perfect. Research is the correct choice. The phrase, "This research study provides findings to support dasher," is reflective of what principle? Right choice. Evidence is the best answer. Which of the following is not an example of sociological factor studied by educational researchers? Well done. How groups and individuals affect one another is the right choice. Why do others think that quantitative research is complex than qualitative research? Because of dash. Excellent. Numerical data is a brilliant choice.
The methodology section is one of the most important components of a proposal and consists of dash.
Valid point. A description of the research design is true. Educational sociology tries to search for suitable solution for problems related to education and. Nicely done. Society is a solid answer.
The research process is cyclical dash. Hence, this research cycle consists of dash areas parts.
Exactly. 6 makes sense, and it is right choice. Quantitative research questions typically come in 3 forms: causal, predictive, and dash. Well reasoned. Descriptive is the correct choice. According to the text, all of the following are examples of research summaries except dash. Right again. Papers on the web is a valid answer.
What is the type of research design that collects both quantitative and qualitative data?
Excellent choice. Mixed methods design is the right answer. From the following list of terms, which one is not related to quantitative research? Good thinking. Exploration is the right answer. What are 2 issues rarely used in quantitative research that determine procedure? You're right. Reliability and validity is the correct answer. Which one of the following factors would make a research problem unresearchable? Bravo! You cannot obtain access to the population of study is the answer. Dash is the primary focus of a research problem designed for qualitative studies. Strong choice. Understanding a group or phenomenon is the right answer.
How many sources of literature may be collected for writing a research proposal?
Correct. Multiple is the right answer.
What type of research is coming under the main heading of analysis of documents?
Great thinking. Descriptive research is the right choice. A principal emphasis of quantitative research problems is best expressed by dash. Correct. The need to explain or predict is the right answer. The characteristics quantitative research do not include which of the following? Smart pick. Descriptions, use of metaphors, comparisons is the correct choice. What variables might influence the outcomes but cannot or will not be measured? Well picked. Confounding variable tax family of variables in educational research is the correct answer. Descriptive, causal, and predictive are 3 forms of dash research questions. You chose quantitative, and it is correct. The ultimate goal of exploratory research is to provide what for researchers? You got it. Your choice understanding is right. Which of the following factors is likely to require a qualitative approach? Well done. Limited number of participants and research sites is the right choice. Which of the following is not usually found in a research studies abstract? Excellent choice. Conflicting studies is the right answer. Which of the following is not belong in steps of inquiry-based teaching? Clear logic. Your choice both A and B is sound and 100% true.
Which of the following are the characteristics of research in education?
Valid point. All of the above is true. Which type of research would not include the statement of a hypothesis?
Great job. Qualitative is the accurate answer.
In qualitative studies, the research problem primarily focuses on dash. Bravo! Understanding a group or phenomenon is the answer.
Which of the following said that research is creating new knowledge?
Right choice. Neil Armstrong is the best answer. The followings are data collection technique of qualitative research.
Well reasoned. Interview and observation is the correct choice.
Which of the following clusters best describes the research process?
Correct response. Idea, review of literature, design, data collection, analysis, findings is the most accurate answer.
3 distinct characteristics of a research include. Nicely done. Only and above is a solid answer. How is qualitative research different from quantitative research? Nice work. You chose it is based on the use of non-numeric data, and it is correct.
The primary purpose of an educational research is to provide dash.
Strong choice. Solutions is the right answer. Which of the following is the importance of educational research? Sharp thinking. All of the above is the right choice. How is exploratory research different from descriptive research? Good thinking. It is primarily used to generate insights and ideas, is the right answer. Where can you find the list of references in a research report? Perfect. At the end is the correct choice.
Which one of the following is a source for primary literature?
On track. All of the above is the correct answer. What is the main characteristic of action-oriented research? You're right. It is self-evaluative, is the correct answer. Which of the following best describes quantitative research? Good job. Your answer, an attempt to confirm the researcher's hypothesis, works well here.
Which of the following cannot be considered a true research?
Right again. Only and is a valid answer. How many types of research method that exist? What are they? Exactly. 2. Qualitative and quantitative makes sense and it is right choice. What is the main characteristic of correlational research? Smart move. It involves the study of relationships between variables is an accurate answer. Research can directly address all of the following except. Nice selection. Improving educational funding is the correct and valid answer. Why is informed consent important in educational research? Solid response. To protect participants' rights and privacy is a valid choice. What are the characteristics of a good literature review? Excellent. Define the need for your research problem is a brilliant choice, which is not a primary objective of educational research. Smart move. Action is an accurate answer. In which environment experimental research is completed? Exactly. Controlled makes sense, and it is right choice. Which type of research involves the use of numeric data or
Solid response. Quantitative research is a valid choice.
What is the purpose of conducted descriptive research?
Bravo. Present facts concerning the nature and status of anything is the answer. An independent variable manipulated by the researcher. Excellent. Treatment variable is a brilliant choice.
what is the main purpose of cross-sectional research?
Nice selection. To collect data from a specific point in time is the correct and valid answer. What is one of the objectives of a research proposal? Clear logic. Your choice to contain an overview of the study is sound and 100% true. What is the one criterion that hypotheses must meet? Nicely done. They can be confirmed or refuted is a solid answer. What is the main purpose of exploratory research? You chose to monitor the effects of remedial action, and it is correct. What variables or factors influence the outcomes? Sharp thinking. Independent variables is the right choice.
What is the main purpose of pure basic research?
On track. To develop or refine theory models is the correct answer. What is the main focus of interpretive research?
Correct response. To study social phenomenon is the most accurate answer.
What is the main focus of case study research?
Right again. To study specific individuals, groups, or events is a valid answer.
Who is the father of educational psychology?
Correct.
Pestalozzi is the right answer. What is the purpose of evidence in research? You got it. Your choice support theories is right.
What is a variable in educational research?
Great thinking. A measurable characteristic is the right choice.
Which is not a purpose of basic research? Valid point. To be less vigorous in terms of design is true. What composed the experimental research? Good job. Your answer experimental and control group works well here.
Educational research has to do with
Well reasoned. Scientific investigating and solving of educational problems is the correct choice. Educational research began in. You're right. 1895 is the correct answer. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format. Great job. Contact Narayan Changder is the accurate answer.